what's up YouTube? In my previous two videos we talked about why a whetstone is the ultimate in sharpening and also how to choose the perfect whetstone for your needs. So in this video we're actually going to be covering the skills needed to use your whetstone. So your first step after you've got your nice whetstone, you're excited to use it, you're going to want to place it in a bin of cold water. I keep this bin around just for this purpose because it's so shallow. It just works well. So you can see the air bubbles coming out. This is as all the pores in the stone become saturated with water. Your stone will want to be soaked for 10 to 15 minutes to allow all those pores to really become saturated. So while our stone is soaking, I'll just introduce you to the knife we'll be working on today. This is my Spyderco Delica 4, full flat grind. Now you'll notice there's some gunk on there from use. You're going to want to clean off anything like that before you use your stone. Otherwise it could get into the grit on your stone and just create dirt there. So let's get a little bit of water and get rid of some of that. Get rid of that dirt. After your stone's been soaked for the appropriate amount of time, I'm going to take it out and lay it on some sort of sheet. I use shop towels. You just want something that has a little bit of traction to stop your stone from sliding around. Our stone's been soaked, our stone is ready, our knife is cleaned up, our knife is ready. Now before you start, you want to take a look at your edge and take note of any bad spots. If you have any chips or dents or anything like that in your edge, those are places you really need to concentrate on. In a previous video I mentioned the light test, so you want to hold your edge up to a light that's coming down on it, and if it reflects light then you know you have some nicks or some real dull spots. This blade is not that bad. My knives almost never get to that point unless I really hit it on something or really blunt it from something aggressive. So we're going to start with the rough side. This is a 1000 grit. So probably the most difficult aspect of sharpening is determining your angle. If you have something like a Scandi grind knife, like this here, you could place your knife on the stone, let it sit on its Scandi grind very easily, and it has a predetermined angle for you. So you just lay it flat on this surface. Very easy. For something like a pocket knife like this, with a very small bevel, you can't do that, so you have to determine your own angle. So what you want to do is take your knife, lay it flat on the stone. Notice the edge is nowhere near touching here. You want to tilt your edge down, or bring up the heel of the knife, see I'm raising this portion, until the shadow disappears under your edge. So notice I'll tip it down until the shadow disappears. So that will be my sharpening angle right there. That's where I'm reaching the edge. Now this, you want to keep this angle in mind and try to hold it as you're sharpening. You don't have to be perfect. It doesn't require that type of precision. And as you progress in your skill over time, you'll get used to holding the same angle you start with. It just becomes second nature. You notice as I rotate or tip the knife back and forth like that, I can stay right on that perfect angle all the way across. So that's where you want to stay. If you start following the heel back down or lessening the angle, you notice the edge is not touching anymore. So you're filing away at your knife up here instead of the actual edge where you want to be sharpening. Just a quick note, you'll want to keep a bowl of water or the tub of water that you soaked your stone in nearby, so you can periodically splash a little water on. The stone will dry out as you're using it, so you want to be able to keep it moist and keep adding a bit of water every so often. Okay, so your stone is ready. You've found your angle. So you want to place your knife on the stone, tip it until that shadow disappears on the edge. I find it's best to hold the knife back here behind the blade, and I always like to have a finger on the tip. And why I like to do that is I can always make sure I'm getting right to the tip, because my finger will fall flat on the stone as I approach that tip. So, lay it, let that shadow disappear, and you make that pull. Notice my finger as it flattens on the stone, I've reached the tip. Now if you've got a lot of steel to remove, you don't just have to do strokes into the edge, you can work back and forth. Now you want to keep checking your edge just to make sure. Just keep an eye on what you're doing with your bevel. You'll be able to see where you're sharpening. You'll be able to see where the stone is contacting the knife. So of course, when you get experienced, when you've spent a lot of time at it, you can get a good speed going, no problem, and you can still hold your angle. Now I still constantly check just to make sure I'm holding my angle well. Make sure you're getting the full length of your edge. And that's how it is. Now you want to make sure you apply the same amount of efforts to each side of the bevel. You'll get a feel for holding your angle. As I said, the longer you do it, the more experience you'll get. You'll be able to keep that at the same angle all the time. So I've just been working for a couple minutes here off camera, being sure to apply the same amount of effort to each side of the bevel. And you notice we have a nice uniform texture there on our edge now. You want to make sure that whatever texture your stone leaves, this entire bevel, roughly 1/8 of an inch I guess, should be consistent texture the whole width and the whole length. There's no reason for there not to be uniformity in the texture. So if your texture runs right to the very edge, right to that very apex, you know that you've created a good bevel. There's no light. The texture is good. You notice it's kind of dull there now because it's only 1000 grit. Now this is fairly sharp. Now just off the 1000 grit, this is already pretty sharp. But you notice it doesn't glide through the paper. Well, it does pretty good, but we can get a lot better than that by polishing. Right now, the very apex on a microscopic level has a slight burr, so it's a little scratchy. And it creates that drag through paper or whatever. So now we're going to move to polishing. Now at this point in time, your stone has dried out a little, especially if you've had the underside laid on something absorbent like this. So I'd throw it back into your bin of water again and rinse off this sediment and just resaturate this to make sure it's nice and wet. So the previous step we just did on the 1000 grit stone would be referred to as sharpening. We're trying to remove steel to create that edge. Now with a grit such as this one, this is 6000, what we're going to be doing is called honing, which means we're just polishing or refining the edge. This is the fun part. This is where you get to see your efforts come in. So right now it's a dull looking blade. It's nice, it's sharp, definitely sharp enough for any EDC tasks, but we're going to take it a notch higher. We're going to refine that edge. So we're going to do the exact same process as we did on the 1000, refine our bevel, just like that. Now notice the black coming off. That is actually polishing and removing a very small amount of metal. I'm going to work for a little bit and polish both sides. Remember to be even on each side of the bevel. Now this is your edge right off of that 6,000 grit stone. Just finished up here. You just want to work until, like I said, you want uniformity across, uniformity in the texture across the whole bevel. Right to the very apex, right to the very edge. You don't want any spots that are still dull that you miss from the 1000 grit. Notice that's solid all the way along. And it's very pretty, but it's also, it'll perform extremely well. Now let's check how good our edge is right off of this. Now right off of this 6,000 grit stone, if you've done your work right, you should have a fantastic edge. Quick arm test just to see. Again, this is right off of the stone. So an edge doesn't get a lot better than that. And that's right off the stone. But we're going to take it one step further. And we're going to talk about stropping, edge stropping. We already have an excellent edge. We're done with our stone, we're done polishing. So I'm going to put that back in to soak and rinse off. And we can be done. So as you can see, one stone can get you an amazing edge. Incredible. With not a lot of time. I might have been here working for 10 minutes. But if you want to refine it even a little bit more, you're going to want to strop. This involves just a piece of leather. That's all you need. What I use is just some old guitar straps. So this is an old guitar strap, genuine leather. This side is finished or polished leather. This side is more of the raw, the velvety leather. And it also came with a small, if you know what a guitar strap looks like, an inch strip that comes out of these slots for adjustment. So I just took that strip and glued it to a piece of pine here. And it just makes it a little bit easier because you want your strap drawn taut when you're working on it so it doesn't roll up around your edge. So I glued mine to a piece of wood just so it stays nice. And you just want to work it basically the same way as you would with a stone, but you never, of course, you have a sharp edge here now and soft material, so you never want to come into the material. You always want to go away from your edge, holding that same bevel and the same thing. You want the same amount on each side. So what I'll usually do, this is my preference, it's the way I do it, exact same every time. I'll do 10 on this side, 10 on this side, 8, 8, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and then I'll do a few ones just until I get it just how I want it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, it's not really important whether you go toe to heel or whether you go heel to toe. It doesn't really matter as long as you get the whole of that edge. It's very simple, and it'll just refine your edge a little bit more. This can be done on a belt like you wear on your waist. If you wear a genuine leather belt around your waist, pull it off, throw it on the table, strap your knife, put it back on. Very easy. So that's it right there, guys. That's how you get an amazingly sharp edge with a whetstone. It does have a bit of a learning curve. It's going to take some time, some practice, but if you practice the techniques I just showed you, you'll have excellent edges, amazing edges in no time for very little investment, and you'll have a skill that, that you can have for a lifetime. Again, just another quick test, just to show you now what the edge is like. As you can see, it's just, compared to the investment for some of the other tools and what you get, and you can apply this exact same process I just showed you to whatever edge tool you have. Kitchen knives, axes, whatever. Isn't that just amazing? What a joy to carry. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy your newfound skills. Keep practicing. I hope you do great with it. I do recommend practicing on cheaper knives and not an $80 or $100 folder like this is, just in case you make mistakes or you do tend to spoil a few bevels starting off trying to learn your angles. But yeah, it's a great skill. I think it's something that every knife person should learn. It's very important to keep these older skills alive. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.